Welcome to Land of the Bible. I'm David Sussman, your personal tour guide here in the land of Israel. And in today's episode, we are going to explore Israel's national park at Masada. Masada has captured the imagination of people for generations. Located on a lonely mountain at the edge of the Judean desert, overlooking the Dead Sea, the Moabite Mountains, and the Kingdom of Jordan. The story of Masada begins during the Hashmonean period and continues through the Herodian and Roman periods and ends during the Byzantine period when the dust of time covers up its ruins until the modern Zionists return here in the late 19th century. In today's episode, we are going to meet a special guest, Mr. Eitan Campbell, who's the director of the National Park here at Masada, who will share with us his special insights in the story of Masada. Eitan, we really appreciate you joining us.
David, thank you for making the time.
So tell us, how did you become the director of Masada?
Well, I started here when I was 17, 1972.
Wow.
And worked up through the ranks, done just about every type of job here at the site. Started with restoration. My father then joined the team. We learned the art of conservation and taking care of the antiquities. For quite a few years, and it's been a very interesting journey.
That's incredible. So you're here over 45 years.
Yeah, getting close to that.
You must have seen some very memorable events here.
Oh yeah, it's been quite a journey, and I had the opportunity to meet quite a few influential, important people, presidents, ambassadors, actors, from the arts. I took President Bush around, he and Laura. Very interesting visit. 2.5 hours on the mountain, a lot of interest on his side.
Why do you think that is? Why are people coming here to Masada?
Well, it's there are a few parts to it, but I think you'll understand it better when we go up to the mountain.
Yeah, should we head up?
I think so.
All right, let's go.
there. What we calculate, 2,700 feet.
Wow.
Snake path takes you up the trail, 45 minutes.
That's roughly 270 stories.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing you guys have the cable car. Wow, this is fantastic, the cable car. How many people can you transport in this?
We can move 1,200 people an hour.
1,200 people, and it also makes it handicap accessible.
And it makes it handicap accessible. This car. The previous car was not capable of that. Now why it was important for us to redo the whole outlook and the program of what you see today.
Well, if you didn't take the cable car, how long would it take you to hike up?
Average time of about 45 minutes to walk up the snake path.
45 minutes, 270 stories.
Yeah, we open every morning an hour before sunrise, and you would be amazed to see hundreds of people here on the top for sunrise. It's almost an event in itself.
I'm sure it is. Sunrises must be beautiful here.
There are moments in life that define you and leave you forever transformed. Like a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the source of your faith. Walk in the steps of Jesus and experience history beyond its words. Sail the ancient Sea of Galilee to the holy shores of the River Jordan. Your journey begins here.
Eitan, we are at the highest point in Masada. In every direction, you see ruins. This place is magnificent. But wasn't it the Hashmoneans who originally built here?
According to Josephus, we have a Hashmonean period that was prior to Herod. However, we can't find anything physical to place that on. No coins, no pottery. We've looked through the junkyards, been able not. We have one early cistern that very possibly, because of the plaster, could be dated to the time of the Hashmoneans.
Mm-hmm. So the only record we have is Josephus saying that the Hashmoneans built a fortress up here in order to protect the highway down below.
Yeah, and as a place, a stronghold. However, it was Herod, and everything that you see below is built by this magnificent king that realized the potential and needed a stronghold that he could get away and at the same time live very, very comfortably.
Well, comfortably for sure. This place is massive. How large is Masada?
David, this fortress was immense, awesome. It had a double wall, went all the way around the circumference, 37 towers lofting into the air, plastered from the outside, so when you came from a distance, you saw this crown around the top of the mountain. This is the most awesome fortress of its day, probably in the whole Roman Empire.
And this is in the entire Roman Empire you're talking about?
This is pretty much through the entire Roman Empire. Very, very impossible to get up here without permission, without invitation.
How powerful was Herod in the Roman Empire?
Herod eventually became the third most powerful man in the Roman Empire. It was Augustus, the emperor, Caesar, Marcus Agrippa, very good friend of Herod, and Herod himself. And maybe just interesting to point out that Herod, the only one of the leaders at that time that did not have his face put on a coin. And this was because of his appreciation and his feeling towards Judaism.
You know, from all the sites that I visited that Herod built, it seems that he builds most things according to Jewish law. And it's funny because there's really a debate whether or not he was even Jewish. Because even to understand why Herod wants to build here in the first place, we need to understand his lineage. And this is the most peculiar part, because his father, Antipater, comes from a place called Mareshah, and he was an Edomian. And the Edomians came in here when we were sent into exile by the Babylonians. And it wasn't until the time of John Hyrcanus that he was able to come to the Edomians and say, wait a second, this is our land, this is Jewish land, this is the promised land. You go back to where you're from, to Arabia, and we have returned to where we're from, the land of Israel. But the Edomians didn't want to leave, and they went to war, and we were victorious. And so most of them left at this point, but some of them were given the option to convert. And they said, what do we need to do? And they said, well, you know what? Every week we have a day, it's called the Sabbath. And you're not allowed to work. You have to be with your family and spend time with the ones that you love and eat good food. And they said, okay, sign us up. This sounds great. And they said, well, also, there's circumcision. And most of them left at that point, except for Herod's father, Antipater. He was so wealthy. He didn't have his mind in the heavens. He wasn't thinking of God. He was thinking of his pockets and his wealth. So he converted to Judaism. And this is Herod's lineage.
Exactly, exactly. Very, very interesting. The only time in Jewish history that people were asked to convert to Judaism.
Wow.
And Herod felt a great, strong connection to that, an appreciation. And the mosaic floors you'll see around Masada have no idols in them, have no faces, nothing, even though this was very popular in the Roman culture. He kept to geometry, he kept to fruit. Very nice examples here on the mountain that show this attitude. So,
Can you show us some of the opulence?
I'd be happy to, sure.
Great, let's go.
Okay.
There are moments in life that define you and leave you forever transformed. Like a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the source of your faith. Walk in the steps of Jesus and experience history beyond its words. Sail the ancient Sea of Galilee to the holy shores of the River Jordan. Your journey begins here.
ton. This is amazing. And this is original?
These are original, they've been treated. And you know, the way you put a fresco together, you have to straighten the wall out, then you do another couple layers of plaster, and then on the outer layer, when you know it's going to be straight, while it's still fresh, this is fresh and fresco, this is why it's called, you put the dye. And the dye creates the crust, which is actually the fresco painting.
And that's what we're looking at
And
right
this
here.
is what you're seeing here. All of this repeats what you see in nature. Okay, there were slabs of marble on the walls of the rich in Rome. Herod wanted that feel, but he couldn't bring the marble. So he went with what we call a style of Pompeii and painted the frescoes on the
So you can
the
find
crust.
this exact same style in Pompeii, Italy.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. And if you pay attention, there's a black marking. You see that?
Yes, I do.
Like an engraving. The Italian restorer told us that by those markings, which go to show the shade, he can tell you where there's a door and a window.
Really?
Yeah. So it was to give you the real impression that these were plates of marble.
Wow,
on
this
the
is
wall.
amazing.
They're beautiful. Masada is the richest site in the country when it goes to fresco paintings.
So I just want to understand. All the walls would have been covered in plaster. We would never have seen any of the stones had we been living here during the time of Herod.
Maybe in certain places, but the idea was you're actually looking at the skeleton of the mountain today. David, I suggest from here we go to the bathhouse, an example of Herod's appreciation of Roman culture, and I'll show you the way.
All right, great. This is incredible over here, and this is unexcavated.
Untouched. Before we get to the bathhouse, I want you to understand we're walking through storeroom. One of the storerooms, one of many, that were plastered inside aesthetically to keep it clean. This was Herod's passion, even though he probably never stepped into one of these storerooms.
Right.
But here inside the storeroom we found the remains of food, and most exceptionally were the date seeds of a tree that we believe to have been extinct, and they were found, and we were able to germinate
That is incredible.
these seeds into an 8-year-old tree that's now living here in Israel.
Amazing.
There are moments in life that define you and leave you forever transformed. Like a once-in-a-lifetime journey to the source of your faith. Walk in the steps of Jesus and experience history beyond its words. Sail the ancient Sea of Galilee to the holy shores of the River Jordan. Your journey begins here.
We're here on Kibbutz Ketorah at the Arava Institute, where they took that ancient seed that was found on Masada and turned it into a living, breathing date tree. Nadav, thanks so much for joining us.
Welcome.
So tell us, how did this project begin?
My mother, Dr. Elaine Soloway, who's an expert on desert trees and desert plants, she was given a bunch of ancient seeds and was asked to spout them. Until that time, the oldest thing to spout was a 1,000-year lotus. And these seeds supposedly are 2,000 years old. She said if the seeds are so ancient, it could wait a bit. She researched for about at least a year, thought about how to do it, and invented the whole protocol of how to spout ancient seeds. And this was the first tile, and the outcome is this tree.
And does the tree have a name?
The tree is called Methuselah, which is the most ancient character in the Bible.
Amazing. And so are we looking at a male or a female tree?
So yeah, the sad news is a male. So it means that we won't have any seeds to continue with. But now we know how to do it. So hopefully we can find him, like we can find a female and find this guy Methuselah a date.
Well, we hope so as well, because I definitely would like to try those dates that those rebel forces up on the top of Masada must have been eating. Well, thanks for the time, Nadav. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Let's head back to Masada to learn more about the fortress on top of the mountain. Wow, this is amazing. Such a beautiful building, and so much of it is still intact. I mean, tiles, fresco, benches, but how does this place operate?
Well, it's a classic bathhouse from Roman times. One of the only buildings that was restored completely in the 1960s. And it's divided into 4 elements. We have a dressing room, and then we go have a cold bath. We have a middle temperature room for massages and such, and then we have a sauna.
Sounds
this is
great.
A dry sauna. We have a floor on top of pillars with a fire outside, and then on the whole room would heat up from underneath and through piping in the wall. And you could get a very warm, hot temperature here. A couple of baths. You throw water on the floor. You get steam coming up. And this is the way they enjoyed their time back in those days.
That's great, and this isn't just something that Herod invented. This is actually a Roman-style bathhouse.
Completely. And it's just like any others you'd find through the Roman Empire at that time.
That's incredible. You know, it's phenomenal to me that there's so much water up here in Masada, but where did it come from?
Herod was a genius. He realized that to exist in the desert, you have to solve the first secret, which is water.
And how do you do it?
And he set up a collection system that was amazing, something uncomparative.
Can we see some of it?
We'll be able to see some of it on the way and realize that he had more water here at Masada than they had for the city of Jerusalem
Really?
in those days.
Amazing. Let's go check it out. Join us next time on Land of the Bible as we continue our epic journey through the archaeological ruins and the story of Masada with the Director General of the National Park here, Mr. Eitan Campbell. Thank you for watching Land of the Bible. And remember, I'm David Sussman, your personal tour guide here in the land of Israel. Make sure to join us next time as we connect you to the people, places, and land of the Bible.